All right, so I'm gonna try to get us out of here by lunchtime. What day is it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Dinner time.
It's morning. Yeah.
No idea.
Who cares?
Okay.
Time is a
So let's play. I know it's been a lot of like heady stuff, very fascinating shit.
Yeah.
But also like let's have a little fun with our time, okay? So I put this workshop together during Gabriel's, and I know a lot of you have been having conversations with, talking about psychic mediumship, and you're like, ooh, please tell me more. So I listened, and I wanted to provide. So my name is Michelle, as y'all know. I'm a woman of many things. They can have all sorts of different titles. But today, for this presentation, I want to focus on psychic, tapping into your inner psychic, and a little bit on mediumship as well. And I'll explain to you guys the difference between those two. Why I love tapping into your inner psychic, it's cool to know that we're all psychic. First of all, everybody is a psychic. There's no special person that's like, I'm a psychic, and takes that title and runs with it. We all have the capacity to understand the signals and sensations in your body, therefore you are psychic. In fact, when we were born, we're probably the most psychic coming in, and then we get put in these boxes and layers of mud. And so it's our job to unmud ourselves, unbecome everything we think we're supposed to be, and actually be in the true essence of who you are. And this is why I really love this. When I took my psychic mediumship course with a fabulous mentor, Mana Doubleker, she's awesome. I thought I was going in to learn about how to talk to spirits that have passed, which I did. But most importantly, I got to understand how to, or learn how to actually trust my body and the things that were happening to my body. And I'd be like, oh my God, is this real, or am I making this shit up, right? We all do that. We're like, did I just think that? And then it happens, you're like, I knew it, right? We all have this. And so there are different things we can do to really start to clean up. Clean up. That's what we can control. How can we clean up? Energetic hygiene, which I'll get into. Okay, there's different things. And how can we start to listen to the whispers and the intelligence that you have inside your body that nobody else can give you that information? We're so used to asking outside of ourselves, being like, hey, what do you think? Can I get your advice? But the problem with that is you're asking someone else's best answer, and they're tuned into their body and not actually listening to your own. I always use this example, and you guys know I like talking about number twos, so I'm going to continue on that. So if there is a whole kindergarten of kids, and we say broccoli is healthy, ask the doctors. Ask my mother, ask everyone, and it has nutrients and it has everything. But if there's one child that has explosive diarrhea from broccoli for whatever their reasoning is, their body said no. So really what this is, and what I'm hoping to help y'all with today, is not just to do readings on each other and start to trust the signals, but to really start to trust yourself. And that's what I really pulled from the course and the courses that I've been doing when it came to psychic mediumship. So, first things first, there's a belief component. If you don't believe something's possible, we know this, then it won't be possible. So you have to, even now as we start, some may be coming in with skepticism, and I get it, and I've been there. And even as I've dove into it, I still find moments where I get skeptical, and then I find validation again, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Oh no, this is not just magic, this is truth. So just if you can be open for this workshop and listen, use your discernment always. I always say, we listen to different people do different talks. Some things will land in your body, some you're like, trust that. You don't have to take everything everyone says every time they speak. So I want you guys to know you have the agency to do that, like full permission to be like, no, or hell yeah, right? So the first things first, what is the difference between your gut instinct and your intuition? People think it might be the same, and it's not. So that's one thing to really differentiate.
I would say we're a team.
Yes.
No, I would say the gut feeling is actually something you remember because you had an experience, and it doesn't have to be always true. and intuition is something coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, you're onto something. Anyone else want to chime in? Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing as you guys.
That's fine. Repeat. What is it for you?
Well, for me, a gut instinct is the external, whereas intuition is internal.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone else want to chime in over here? Especially someone who doesn't know. I'd love to hear from you to see where you're starting and then what you'll learn too. Throat chakras. No? Okay. I'll give you yes.
I would say your gut instinct comes along with more of a physicality that is like solar plexus, somewhere oriented, and it's kind of immediate action sometimes without a thought. And intuition is a really small, subtle thing that you just follow. It's not even, I can't even say it's necessarily a voice, but it doesn't come from here. It comes, I don't know, it just comes to you. It's more, one is more ethereal, one is more visceral.
That's a really great way to put it, actually. Yeah. And I know you were pointing where in your body, and that I'll name now will be different for all of you. So your gut instinct might actually be in your gut, or your intuition might be like mine comes from up here.
Yeah.
Some people it comes from their heart. Some people it comes on their back. It could be your pinky finger, and you're like, oh, a signal's going off. I know what this is. I'm in my zone of genius. I'm in that space where my excellence can come through because I'm not attached to anything except for an inner knowing. So gut instinct can only, it is a past experience in the present moment making an educated guess for the future. Okay? So there's a visceral feeling in the body. So if you have like a, or a, I don't know, and it's usually based on fear as well. I'll name that, okay? So that's gut instinct. Is that clear for everyone? So something could have happened in the past, and then today in this moment, you're making an educated guess for the future, and you're like, I think I'm not going to do it this time, right? Hot air balloon. Some of us were like, yeah, and then some of us were like, sitting with it and thinking of all the things that could happen, and then we make these decisions, right? Based on everything that we've heard previously. Intuition is purely present. It's not in the past. It's not attached to anything, and there's no physical sensation that is, other than maybe a signal of like, I can feel open, but there's no actual like fear-based signal attached to the body. Does this make sense for you guys? So let's name it now. What is intuition then?
Intuition is knowing and
Attached to?
nothing.
Gut
And the
instinct?
other one has a lot of emotion.
Yes, yes, exactly. So this will be really good when we start to tap into our body cues of, is this something I just know? Or is this something that I'm making an educated guess because of something that has happened to me or a belief system that I have from the past? Okay? So, let's move into baseline and saboteurs. Have you guys heard of either or?
Base. What's
Can you
that?
say it again?
Baseline and saboteurs.
Huh?
So baseline is when you're in nothingness. That is the space you want to be when you're doing a reading. That's when you're in your intuition and in your knowing. You're not attached to anything. So even joy, right? Excitement is a feeling and sensation when we get thrown off our baseline. So when we go to do readings on each other, we're going to try to hone into our baseline, attached to nothing, so we can allow the intuitive information to come through and not add our own experience into a reading of somebody else. Another thing I didn't put in here, but I'm feeling called to talk about, I need water, is empathy versus compassion. So when you are reading, it is not your job to cry with someone else because of the information that you're providing. That you are there to be a stabilizer and a straw of information, which is why being in your baseline when you do readings is really important. You don't want to add your own personal whatever, our own shit into someone else, especially if you're doing a psychic mediumship reading and you have a really important information to provide to someone. Like if your guide starts crying, how are you going to feel? Like scared, right? And maybe that's not what the healing is. Maybe it's the most beautiful thing information you could provide someone for the healing that they need. So knowing it's not about you, like take all of you out and just be in a complete, utter presence of your baseline, right? Just pure peace, pure spaciousness. So I'll take you guys into a meditation before we do it too, just to kind of hone in. Saboteurs. Anyone know what a saboteur is?
Someone who sabotages?
Yeah, they're thought hijackers, right? We have so many thought hijackers that come in.
Oh my God.
Perfectionism, hyper-rational, hyper-vigilant, victim. Like we all play these little parts, but they happen subconsciously. So it's not things that always happen in the conscious mind. Like it's actually happening so subconsciously that it is the through line of energy behind everything we do. It literally takes the driver's seat without you even knowing. It hijacks. And so in order to be in your baseline, you have to silence. Oh, I don't like the word silence. That feels like we're like shutting it down. We need to give space to the saboteurs so that we can be in that pure presence, right? There's the positive intelligence quiz. I'll put it in Telegram, and then you can see, if you feel like doing the quiz, you can see what's your highest. Like mine's controller. That's my first. I feel like most people's are. Or there's a whole bunch of them, and then I'd be curious to hear from you guys what comes up. So, do y'all know the difference between psychic and mediumship?
I felt like I did before this.
Isn't this amazing though? Because we have these ideas of fortune tellers. Nobody can predict the future. We can't predict the future. We can predict present moment energy, which changes over time. So when people come to a psychic, it's usually you're looking for validation of something you already know.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I knew it, right? We're just like reflecting to you something you already know within yourself. So I want to make that really clear. There's no special person on planet Earth that, you know, is going to do something and provide you with your whole life plan. You know your life plan. You are your own psychic, right? But sometimes it's nice to have outside validation from someone, which feels really good. And I understand it.
So, question. Is then the psychic reading your field and then making presumptions, or how do you mean that?
Say it one
You know
more
what?
time.
Is a psychic then reading your field, or am I reading the field of an animal or of a
Yes.
person?
You guys are going to do psychic readings on each other today.
And that's reading the
The
field.
field,
Yeah.
yes. So you
So
might
that
come up
tap
with
into
like,
the information that actually is there. Yeah.
And the cool thing is the information will come in ways that you can't even imagine. You think it's going to come in visuals. It can come in textures, animals you've never seen before, colors you've never seen before. And this is what I'm saying. A psychic has practiced getting to know their body and trust that they are able to do this. And all of you can do that too. It's just a matter of massaging it to get the knots out so that we can allow the channel to be really open. So don't judge when we go to do ours today because you're just tapping in, but try to turn this off because when this is on, you can't be in here. They don't go together very well. Right? This motherfucker comes up with all this shit every single day and hijacks the fuck out of our lives all the time, excuse my French. But when we start to tap in our hearts, you know how it feels when we're here? I know what it feels like to be here and here like 90% of the time. That's rough. Even when we're dreaming, we're still thinking, you know? So mediumship is a connection to a spirit that has passed. It's pretty simple. So people are like, oh yeah, I wanna,
Or a guide, or
Uh,
being
no,
from another
somebody-
planet. That's also mediumship. No?
I consider that a channel.
that would be,
something mediumship.
mediumship is specifically for,
Okay.
I'll ask my mentor on that one. She'll probably have the answer, so remind me after this.
Yes,
But my answer, my intuitive answer would be that it would be more channeling and that mediumship is speaking directly to spirits that have passed. The interesting thing about that too is sometimes, you know, we have clients come in and they really want to connect to someone specific, but sometimes it can be that that spirit's not ready, and that could be for a lot of different reasons. And so they get upset, right? They're like, oh, I really wanted to see a specific person. And the way in which the readings happen too, it's you have to provide different, spirits don't come in like English language. Maybe sometimes you'll hear it, but this is where I'll talk about the clairs a little bit so you guys can sort of feel into which clair is most resonant for you. So actually let me pivot into that right now. So Clairvoyance is a clear sense of vision. So it's a psychic sight, like a projector screen that gets put down in front of you and you're visually seeing it, right? Some people get that. Clairgustance, which is not that popular, but very popular for me because food is my love language, as I mentioned. And so I'll get a taste. So every time I do a reading, I'm tasting like plantain, or I'm like, I'm getting this taste of these cookies. And I remember doing a reading for someone, and it was ingredients I didn't know. Like I didn't know what nutmeg was. I've never cooked with it. I know it's a part of cookies, but when I was describing it, I was like nutmeg and cinnamon and all these things. She goes, oh my God, that's my grandmother's cookies. And she gave me the name of them. They were from like Germany or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So for me, clairgustance is very, very prominent. Another one is clairsalience, so using your nose. So that could be like a perfume. And the use often in mediumship versus psychic. Anyone resonate with any of these so far? Yeah. Clairaudience is a clear sense of hearing, so hearing clear word sounds. It could be even like a ringing in the ear. So I noticed that when I was doing a session with my mom, I started going like this, which is weird. Like who does that to clear their ear, you know, when it's itchy? Like maybe you'd go like this. She goes, why are you doing that? And I said, doing what? She's like, that thing with your ear. And I'm like, why? She goes, that's what Grandma did. And I was like, wow, I felt Grandma like a minute ago, so she's here, right? And that's my mom's mom. So there's these beautiful moments that come through that like, you can't make this shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we'll move into, and I'm not going to go too much in the clairs. I just want to give like an overall. You guys can Google if you want to get more like into the specifics, but I just want to give you the main 8. So claircognizance, which is a clear sense of knowing. So a psychic insight and knowing tied to intuition. Mm-hmm. So that's that intuition that we feel, that information just comes through and you just know. Mm-hmm. Example, I was on the flight to Hawaii, and for some reason our plane did like a game, and they said, at this time on the plane, how many, I don't know if it was meters, kilometers, or whatever they asked, how many were we in the sky? And they gave us pieces of paper and a pen. And I just got a number, and I laughed, because I'm like, there's no way. I have no idea if this is kilometers, meters, or whatever they said, and I just wrote it down, and my girlfriend looked at me, and she's good at guessing. She's good at math. I'm not the best at math. So she did her guess. She looked at mine and laughed, because I wrote it down so quickly. I looked at her, and I said, no, wait. And she was like, no, you're not. I'm like, I am. And then I peeped my head. I looked at my other friend in the front. I'm like, Matt, I'm going to win. And he's like, yeah, okay. And of course, it's like I was just waiting. I already knew. And I'm like, let's hear it. They get on the intercom, and of course, they're like, seat number 27E. And I'm like, thank you so much. And I have this beautiful pillow that I bring to all of my airplanes. And my girlfriend, Evelyn, has been pissed to this day. And she just came to Dubai with me last week. And I looked at her, and I was like, right? Sometimes it's just there. There's no rhyme or reason for it either, so don't look for it. Stop looking and search it. Sometimes it's just right in front of you, right? Then we have clairsentience, so a sense of feeling, so detecting psychic information through our body, which is more of a gut feeling, okay? And then there's clairempath. So this is different from being empathetic, or different from empathy. So feeling the emotions of others, which is empathy. But clairempath is being able to feel the emotions in advance, as an example, or being able to feel emotions of others when they're nowhere near you and you're not communicating with them. And you're just like feeling someone in a total other room, and you just know they're sad. And you're, I'm gonna go check in on them. Or have you ever called someone and you're like, hey, how are you doing? Because you just had this feeling like maybe something was up, right? So those are, there's one more here. Clairtangency is a clear sense of touch. So being able to detect psychic information through your hands, for example. So sometimes when you hold an antique or, grandmother's watch that has passed, you can start to pick up a whole bunch of information. So if you go to like an antique store and you're like, whoa, and you're walking around and you're feeling all sorts of things, and visuals start coming, or smells or whatnot, so that would be clairtangency.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the, like, so, if all of a sudden, like say someone pops in your head and you're just thinking of them, and then all of a sudden your phone rings and it's them.
Yeah, that one
Claire.
is, let me go up. Hold on. It's like when there's a ding, yeah, and then something comes in right at that moment.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I wrote this down earlier. Let me go to the end, and I'm gonna get back to you on that
Okay.
one. I wanna make sure I'm precise. Okay. Sure. Energetic hygiene. What is that?
Not taking on other people's problems.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not taking on other people's problems. What else?
Cleaning your energy.
Clearing your field. Yeah.
Clearing your field, clearing your energy. How? What would that look like?
Crystals,
Yes.
herbs, baths.
Herbs, baths,
Moving water.
water, showers. Oh, yes, all of these so good.
Sage.
Saging, right? So all of these are amazing. I go into Trader Joe's. Who in here has Trader Joe's? Okay. And those who don't know what Trader Joe's is, it's just like our favorite little grocery store in the U.S. Really good prices and really delicious food, especially if you're single. They always have like the little onesie, little whatever, easy to make. And I go in and I look at all these flowers, and I do this every Sunday. I buy my ass flowers. I do not need someone else to buy them for me. And there's something about providing that for yourself, and then this act of self-love that I see throughout the week. And when I see it, my heart goes like this, which means it takes me out of here. My heart goes, oof. And then I remind myself, like, I am love, and I love me, and that's okay to say that. It's not selfish to say that you love you. And it's hard sometimes, so to practice something as simple as that, you're going to the grocery store anyways, why not get yourself some flowers? And I don't just get any flowers. I will look and I'm like, what flowers are resonating for me today? Not yesterday, not what I think this week needs. Like, which one made me go, for whatever reason, yellow, yummy, getting them, smelling it. Oh yeah, these are them, I know it. Put it in, and then it's there the whole week. And then furthermore, I bathe in them. So I'll do like a beautiful salt bath, and before I go in, I'll take a little petal, and I'm like, I want to bathe in patience. I would like to bathe in joy. I would love to bathe in, and be really intentional with why I'm even taking this bath, right? So these are like beautiful energetic hygienes you can do. People are like, I don't have time. I'm like, that does not take time, right? It doesn't take time. In fact, we get time back when we're in our heart. When we're in our minds, we're losing time. We're in our, oh, should I get this? And why didn't I do that? And how about you just pick them? How about you just like be with them, right? Environments are important. What music are you listening to? What is the messaging? What shows do you like, right? What are you putting into your field? That matters. The people you're with. Sometimes you gotta make that list of, okay, this no longer serves. I'm clearing this. I have to clear this. I have to clear that. And it's not a selfish act. It's an act of love. And as we evolve, it's not that we're better or worse than someone else. We've just out-evolved each other. Like, it just doesn't match anymore, and that's okay. And it's really loving to actually admit that and then move on, so you both can live in your true authenticity, your true self, right? So, alcohol, sorry for the drinkers in here, but alcohol really muddies the field. It's like poison. It's like being this beautiful flower that's open that I picked, and I'm like, and then taking, gasoline and going, and showering it and expecting to feel great, right? You're gonna melt, you're gonna weld, right? Things like that. Drugs is the same thing, right? I'm a huge advocate for mushrooms, and I love to say this out loud. I'm not gonna get into it today. I might get into it when we do the psychedelic breath work. We're not taking anything. However, we will be accessing psychedelic capabilities with DMT, natural releasing with conscious connected breath. So that will be on the 10th. And I really invite you guys to come. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Yeah. The last one, there's a couple more here, but I'm gonna keep rolling. Boundaries. Oh my God, how hard are freaking boundaries? Hard. It takes time. It takes practice, and it takes doing it again and again and again. You think you've created your boundary, and all of a sudden it gets pushed. Even when you're doing these readings, I want to talk about boundary because y'all are going to read on each other. And you're allowed to have boundary. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say yes. This also bleeds into consent. So when we do our readings on each other, you'll feel, even though you ask someone, do I have permission to tap into your energy? And they're like, yes. And then you can't access, there's an energetic no, right? A maybe is still a no. A yes is a yes. A solid yes is a yes. A maybe is a no, or maybe later, but it's not a yes yet, right? We want to make sure that there's always consent, not just in readings, but in everything that we do. Physical consent, spiritual consent, like tapping into something so beautiful and being open with each other, saying, yes, like I honor this and we can do this together and I trust. And if you don't trust, you're allowed to say, I don't trust. And then you can take your time and you can both sit in it. You can ask again, right? Does anyone have any questions so far? Boundaries, validation. Oh yeah, and consent. Validation will be the last thing I go over, and then we'll get into the somatics of everything. Okay, so validation is not important, but it is when you first start doing this stuff. Because we're believing something you can't see, it's hard sometimes to prove. In fact, you can't really prove other than be like, oh, I just said that. Or like if I were to write it down and I'm like, okay, pick a number, wrote it, proof. You say 9, it's 9, right? So when you're first starting, I remember feeling really nervous, especially in mediumship, because that's serious. That's something you need to be super integrity with, because you are speaking to spirits that have passed and you're presenting information for someone that may need for deep, deep healing, right? So, wait, here's my spiral brain. It's happening right now. What was my point 2 seconds ago?
You were saying you were feeling really nervous.
Nervous for what?
Validation.
Validation. Woo! Okay, so, and then I went into what?
The
Needing
Give
proof
my
of
presentation.
I'm testing you right now. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Needing proof of the number 9.
Needing proof of the number 9. Validation, yes. So I finally did a reading, and I was so nervous to say the names because I got 3 names. I'm like, shit, there's no way I'm gonna say these 3 names and they're going to be right. Like the probability of that is 0, basically. Like getting it right once, okay, twice, 3 times, meh. 3 times is where I'm like, okay, this is proof for me. And when the woman came onto the camera, I had nerves, so I had to take myself into the baseline and just, this is not about me, this is about her, so just present the information. I said maybe Leroy, Marvin, and there was a 3rd name. She said, that's my dad, that's my brother, and that's my cousin.
Wow.
And I literally was like, holy shit. Every time I question myself, we question ourselves so often. Is this real? What is this? Is this a real signal? Is this something I made up in my head? Like, this is where the validation can be really important in the beginning. And as you get to trust yourself, this is where the trust comes in. This is the most important takeaway. It's not how cool having different clairs is. It's, can you start to actually trust your body? Signals, the intelligence is here. It ain't there or over here. It's like been here the whole time, right? And that's empowering. Like, you get to take that everywhere. Till the day we die, we have it. It's there for you. And the access is there if you are willing. If you are willing to believe and you are willing to trust, right? So before we get into it, thank you all for listening to this, because I'm realizing as it's coming out of my mouth how important this actually is. Again, it's not just for psychic abilities, it's to actually get to know who we are and move in an authentic way when you can start to trust the body and stop questioning ourselves. So thank you for that.
It's our birthright.
Pardon?
It's our birthright.
Birthright, baby. Hell yeah. So we're gonna go into some readings. What I would love to do is I'm gonna take y'all through, so you guys will be together. You guys are together, perfect. And then Jason, you're gonna come over here, okay? And I'm gonna take you through a meditation where we're gonna bring in the white light, okay? And we're gonna open up. So we're gonna connect into the root of the earth. We're also going to pull from the top of our head. So we're gonna create spaciousness. And we're gonna do a little bit of breath work just to move and clear any saboteurs that might be here, any self-doubt, which is another big thing. You're gonna self-doubt, throw it, it's okay. Just be there with the person in front of you. Nothing is wrong, okay? You might say, say I'm doing this with Jason and we are going into it and I'm just like, okay, feeling hearing, whatever, you'll start to see which clair you have as you get into the reading. And then I'm going to ask you to share what came up for you. Actually, let me change that a little bit. I want one person to read, the other person to read, and then we'll share what came up. Does that sound good? Yeah. But before, so person one, maybe decide who's person one and person two, just so we know. Person one, person two.
First or second?
Cool. And so just a reminder to ask as you hone in together. You'll face each other eventually after I do this meditation with y'all. And do I have permission to tap into your energy? Or it could be, do I have consent to tap into your field? Whatever feels natural, but ask. And then make sure you hear a yes, you feel a yes as well. Okay?
Sorry, can you?
Yeah, so you're gonna ask each other, you're gonna ask consent while you get into the reading. And so person one will say, can I have permission to tap into your energy? And then person two has to verbally say yes. Make sure you hear it. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any theme we're talking about?
Any theme?
We ask about, or just
No.
general?
You're just going to experience the person in front of you.
Wide open.
Yeah, wide open. It might come in on like, do you guys want to see maybe a random example? Okay, if that feels, okay, so let me go, Jason, just stand here with me for a second. So if Jason and I are doing it, okay, and so we're just breathing, we're cohering our hearts, and we're just gonna take some breaths. So I'm bringing myself into my baseline. I can feel that my body's still excited, and also that my auditory is a bit off. Okay, there, thank you, Tony. Good. Give me a second. Jason, do I have permission to tap into your field? I'm gonna wait a second because his yes felt like a 90%, so I'm just gonna hang tight for 1 sec. Was I right? It was a yes, yes? Okay, good. So I'm seeing like a bunch, like what are those Nerf guns? Not a Nerf gun. What, is it a Nerf gun? How do you say it? Yeah, Nerf guns. It's these little like Nerf guns, and it feels really playful. It's blue, and the feeling and sensation I'm getting is like whatever that would feel like when you're like to you, and it's playful and fun. And it also has like a bit of melancholy sadness attached to it. So okay, so I just, right? I can keep going. So then, and then we'll switch, right? But Jason, can you tell me if any of that resonated in terms of like anything at all?
Well, kids with Nerf guns.
Your kids with Nerf guns, right? And we're putting them on the spot. We're all like in front, you know. You guys are going to be like standing in front of each other. But did the Nerf gun have any representation for you that like you might have felt in your heart?
No, I wouldn't say so, no.
Specifically?
No.
Okay.
Only that they're making a mess.
Okay, so you're like, fuck this. Yeah, okay. So when you guys share with each other, and like I said, I just put Jason on the spot, but when we are relaxed and we are open, the more you can pick up and you'll be able to like hear and then validate each other with what it meant. And don't judge it. Judgment's gonna wanna come in. Self-doubt and skepticism will wanna come in. When you feel that, breathe. Come back to your baseline. And remember, it's not about you. It's about the other person. Okay?
Do we give the feedback right away after we transmit the information? Like,
I
or
would
do we-
say, what do you think? We can do either or. Would it feel better to say your feedback immediately, or do you think you can hold on to feedback and do it at the end?
I would rather wait.
I say we do
Yeah.
each the readings, and I'll let you know when we switch. So keep going. You can have your eyes closed or open, whatever feels good. I generally feel like my eyes closed really helps me get in, and then we'll do the sharing at the end. So let's move so that you guys are facing. You guys are good. You want to face those two in, those two in. I'm going to take y'all through a little meditation first to ground us.
I feel like I'm on a game show now. Mystery squares.
And you can sit, you guys. Do you want to stand? It might be more comfortable to sit. Yeah.
What's that?
Okay, so before you start, I'm going to do a meditation, okay? It's going to take us into our baseline, and then we'll open our eyes just so that we can be there.
Share space with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take you guys through a meditation. So if y'all want to sit in front of each other, close your eyes. Before connecting to the person in front of you, before connecting, just listen, before connecting to the person in front of you, I want you to connect to yourself first. That's really important. We want to meet each other, not merge, right? We're there to stand strong and hold the space. Cool. So we're going to start by closing our eyes in the space here. Oh, I gotta get it here. Hold on. One second. Let me get it so you guys can hear this music. Battery 70%. 2 seconds, y'all. There we go. All right. So we're just going to take a moment to allow ourselves to just start by softening. Maybe even just a little bit. Sometimes softening too fast feels like too much. Can you just start by softening one thing? Maybe starting with our shoulders, letting them just, oof, yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Softening the neck. Softening the forehead. Softening all those thoughts. And just imagining those thoughts just melting away. And if it feels safer, maybe letting the thoughts know you'll be right back. But thank you for this space. Beautiful. And then maybe softening the elbows, softening the belly, yeah. Softening the hips. So good. And then allowing this beautiful melting all the way down into the root of your feet. And I want you to feel an electrical pull pulling down your feet all the way through the roots of the earth, making its way down, down, all the way to the core of the earth. Feeling the intelligence, the magnificence of this beautiful planet, the trust, the safety, and then allowing that energy to pull back up from the core of the earth, up the roots, making its way up to the bottom of our feet, and feeling the light rooted from our feet, making its way up our legs, into the knees, up to the stomach, making its way, pulling up your spine. Can you feel this beautiful light? That is your light. Pulling it up your spine, through the top of your head, and feeling this beautiful pull into the sky at the same time, down into the earth, and feeling that polarization, that fullness, allowing every shade of you to be here in between, making our way up past the clouds, making our way into the sky, starting to pass the stars and the moon. Noticing twinkling lights, bright lights, just acknowledging, noticing, observing as you continue to rise, and making your way up further, further. Start to land into a larger attached to nothing, but also everything. Your baseline. This peaceful space. And with that, I want us to start taking some really gentle breaths. Just noticing if there's still any sensation in the body, we can move it with our breath. So taking in beautiful inhale. Exhaling it out the mouth. Beautiful. Another inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. And a nice sigh. So good. And now that we are in our baseline, we're going to start by just gently noticing the sensation of the person in front of you. Seeing when you take yourself outside of you and you feel into someone else. Just noticing and witnessing, observing the shift. Allowing, recognizing, yeah. And for a moment, just taking your hand, let's place it on our heart. Yeah. Good. And just knowing that our hearts are in the space to hold the space for yourself and for each other. And with that, we're going to gently open our eyes, coming back into the space. No words, please, just yet. Good. And then I invite person number 1 to ask consent, permission, and then we'll read person number 2. Okay? We'll put some music on and then we'll switch. Beautiful. All right, y'all, you can get started. We'll be here for about 2 more minutes and then we'll switch to person number 2. So we're still just reading.
Really? Really? Okay. Totally. Everything you said so far is completely right on. What? Everything. Remember that I went through the yellow notes.
Fear. And there's 4 people walking through this fairground.
So if y'all haven't switched yet, you can switch to personality. All right, y'all. So feel free to open the eyes and you can share person 1 to person 2. So this was very
Or some of it. She mentioned something about nerve guns. Trying to get her to get cotton candy, but she was like, fine. But of course, it would have been pink cotton candy. And she has freckles. She's a redhead, but that's close enough to brown for me. But yeah, we've absolutely done those things. So you're good at this. You know It's funny too because I've done this before with other people. And so I can't see anything, and I realized, well, of course, I don't see anything. And that's when I started visualizing what you were saying.
Partner, it's like having fun and you go different ways, we come back together, like it's like a dance of just beauty and helping out and everything. And then the red dot is just pissed off about it and wants to kind of mess up or excuse the loss, that kind of scenario, you know, or strike, do something. Well, and also because time doesn't exist, is that business and then there were representations of very specific things that came down to the other levels of the
We can try it out.
If you haven't already, we're going to switch partners. Again, if you haven't already, we'll switch partners. Of course, yeah.
Because I was drawn to certain
Would you like to go first or second?
And then after you kind of became like the person of all these other beings of these beautiful women that were like the sisterhood, then this other person that come to your left transformed and you were from another planet, which was then the blue come into like a ocean turquoise, a marine turquoise.
Oh yeah.
With like kind of like a reptilian kind of form, more round, not pointed as with high cheekbones, and no sexual orientation, man, woman, just everything, you know, and tall, and not much like a man, just like you are strong, strong.
So we didn't. And then I don't know what else happened, but they today I was in prison. It was at 12 and one yeah, there was this one particular, he was a bishop, and he had some men with him.
About 1 to 2 more minutes, and then we're going to share all together, okay?
And then just to wrap it up, so that
Do you want to trade? That way you get a chance to do it as well.
Sure.
you're just jumping in. So good. All right, y'all. So we'll start to wrap it up. You want to give your partner a hug? A thank you. Woo. We did really good time. All right, clap once if you can hear me. Clap 3 times if you can hear me. Clap 5 times if you can hear me. Clap 7 times if you can hear me. Clap 12 times if you can hear me. Clap 20 times if you can hear me. Okay, you guys can continue to share after this. I just want to be respectful of time for everyone, and I'm sure some of us are hungry. So let's hone in as a group here. First of all, how fucking cool.
So fun.
So fun! Y'all are so psychic, right?
Yeah.
It's not a special quality. It's for everybody, right? And so just noticing like, ooh, I had troubles here. Why? Oh, because I was thinking I was having a skeptic moment. Okay, cool. So how can we release that? Come back again. Sometimes you just have to like forgive yourself, let go of the self-doubt, come back in, right? What did you learn?
To trust myself.
Yes, to trust yourself. That was my goal. Thank you. Okay, what else did you learn?
The biggest thing for me was that it's not about me, and that's why I doubt myself all the time when doing these things, and I was super accurate. I didn't know that, and I make it always about me. I'm not sure if I feel it, if I see it right, if I am connecting, if I am reading it. But it's not that, it's actually to let that go and be about her. And then that's when it worked.
Wow.
And to me, that's the biggest takeaway, because I've tried to do this, make this step like 100 times. And I always have good stuff coming out of it, but I'm fighting with myself all the time.
Yeah.
So this for me was very beautiful. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Beautiful awareness. And it's like, okay, so we did that in the room today, but how often do we walk around doing exactly that? Like in our day-to-day, in our very small moments, in our interactions, right? So just having the awareness around that, that's how we can start to change that neural pathway, that there's actually different options for ourselves. And then life starts to change, right? So cool. Anyone else? What did we learn today? The learning.
For me, it was like that baseline moment to be able to tune in to getting to that. And it's like, okay, and I can, instead of kind of prejudging, because I was already like, or not like I had kind of like feelings, okay, like with Tracy, okay, this is kind of like before the thing even started, like, okay, I know this is kind of coming through, I guess where it's gonna go. I was having some stuff with you as this is where it's gonna go, but then it's like when the baseline came in, it allowed it to like that to pass and like stuff to flow, like, yeah.
And you can always come back to it. Sometimes the hijacker comes, right? And you're like, whoa. But then use your breath. Your breath is always there. It's free. It's unlimited. Okay? We're going to use that a lot on the 10th, I think it is. Breath. Oh my God, magic. Okay? Really beautiful.
What is the 10th? Because it's the
10th
14th.
day,
Oh, the 10th day. I was like, what is the 10th?
I think it's the 10th day.
Okay.
Make sure you guys are there. You're really
So
going
confused.
to, I think you're going to get a lot from it. And it's less thinking and it's more just trusting. Like trusting your breath to take you and guide you where you need to go. You're going to, what did you learn today?
I learned within this context of everything we're learning about ourselves and everyone close to us, that this is such a sacred, safe space, and everything that she read was like me talking to my own heart. She was 100% accurate on everything and so intimate that I haven't said to anyone.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with the group. Do y'all see why I love the share at the end too? Because as you guys are sharing, we're hearing the validation, which like I said, we don't always need it. At the beginning we do. But also it's like, me too. Oh, me too. Oh yeah, I sense you. And then it kind of like brings our hearts into the room together. And that's a really important part of
these types of sessions. And thank you for saying the word safety, because that's like I would say Dharma is coming in here and providing safety for people to be themselves and trust themselves. So I thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I'm gonna come to this side of the room. Tony, hold on 1 second, Kate. Y'all, what did you learn over here?
I felt like, I mean, we've been with each other for 11 years, so, you know, we know everything.
Yeah.
But there was still this like really beautiful, like, almost like that it was my first time meeting her. And just like as soon as I closed my eyes, I could just see this aura of her. And then I just sat with that. And then my first thought that came to me was nothing that I would ever think would have popped into my head, especially right now in my life. That, you know, it was just a very random, like, oh, that was kind of interesting. And then the next thought was like, that was interesting as well. Like, so there was like these really cool things that I grabbed onto that I obviously didn't make up, because those wouldn't have been the things I would have made up right now, you know?
Totally.
And so, I thought that was really amazing, just to like connect on that level again of some, like whatever the energy field between us is, and really have that like deep sort of grabbing things that are important, because as soon as I mentioned them to her, we were both like, yeah, like obviously those are things that are kind of important right now.
So many unspoken truths, right? We try to communicate to each other. We use sound coming out of our mouth, but what is the energy behind what we're saying? That's really what matters. It's not words, it's the subtext. Because I have the auditory processing, I can't live in context because I can't hear everything y'all say. So I have to live in subtext, and I have to feel, right? That's something that's been really, really, really hard for me, but also it's turned into a gift. So anytime you're hard on yourself too, that like, oh, I don't have this capability or this capacity, well, because you don't, there's gotta be a gift on the other side. It's giving you something. So finding like celebration for what we do have, even if it is something that's difficult and hard. Did you guys feel called, or do you feel like sharing anything? And you can say no.
I think I feel like what some of the other people felt, that like at first it was like, oh God, pressure, like
Totally.
I don't know how to do this, like I've never done this. But right before coming here, I read an architect, like to breathe in 5 and out 5, and so that's what I did, and it got me to like the baseline, and I saw like 3 things that I don't know made sense, but I saw 3 things.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. How you feeling?
Well, I got one thing out of from her, but that's all.
Yeah, and that's okay. And listen, all of us will go at different paces too. We all think differently, feel differently, we exist in the world differently. God, I wish we could each be in each other's body for one day. I said that to Matt. I'm like, God, you make everything so easy. I'm just like spiraling all over the place. Like, what would it feel to be in his body, who can hear everything and, you know, function so easily? And then he's like, well, it's not that easy. Hold on, because he's got his things. But I'm like, what would it feel like in my body? I'd feel so seen if someone could understand what this feels like too, right? So each body's so unique, so different. So just love on yourself. You deserve all the love in the world. I love you. Thank you for trusting. Thank you for coming. Thank you for dancing.